Look at that, Mr. Allen.
Boy, I mean, he is nice.
Look at that, Mr. Robert Allen. I can't begin to tell you. I mean, that's a deer of a lifetime for a bow hunter right there. Are you kidding me? How about that? That is the coolest thing.
Folks, Dan Furmanick here to tell you about the finest deer lures on today's market. Those lures made by Mr. Paul Pollick. And there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Paul Pollick's deer lures are the primary reason that I've enjoyed the opportunity to harvest mature white-tailed deer like I've never experienced before. And folks, for me, these last 2 years have been simply incredible, as I've been able to harvest 4 of the biggest mature whitetail in all my 30 years of bow hunting these majestic animals, including this giant, my biggest one ever, the Tennessee stud, who scores right at 140, Pope and Young, my very first booked deer. And folks, keep in mind, I'm not a trophy hunter. I don't pay for hunts. I don't have hunts given to me. I don't hunt over bait, and I do not hunt food plots. Not that I have anything against any one of those things. It's just not what I do. So what do? Well, for almost 30 years, I've been hunting free-ranging white-tailed deer, both bucks and does, in hopes of providing a delicious and nutritional food source for my family, all the while trying to learn how to get close to those big mature bucks to be able to harvest one with a bow and arrow. And folks, during these countless adventures in God's great outdoors, I've used just about every gimmick and gadget that you can think of, along with making every conceivable mistake that you can make in the woods. And this combination has provided years and years of experience, mostly based upon failures towards my inability to harvest mature whitetail bucks.
The scents did their part. The wind did its part. It changed direction. My fault.
Now folks, I'm going to confess, my failures have not been because of those gimmicks or those gadgets. The vast majority of my failures have been because of me, the hunter, my perceptions and methods, along with my lack of understanding the behavior of big, mature white-tailed deer. And once I started addressing my methods and perceptions based upon my countless failures, including the fact that my bow, my gear, my stand, all of these things are just tools to get the job done, I came to the conclusion that the best way to hunt a deer is to be a deer. And folks, Paul Pollick's incredible selection of deer lures and scents allow you to be just another deer in the woods. Therefore, not alarming nor intrusive, but highly effective. Before we can be just another deer, we've got to stop smelling like a human. And there's no better human cover scent made than Paul Pollick's #1 seller and the most important scent that you can use, his October Cover Mist. This blend of 10 authentic natural live plants is simply the perfect cover scent for your boots and clothing. Its ability to effectively mask your human odors with your surroundings has made October Cover Mist Mr. Pollick's #1 seller. And folks, here's a Paul Pollick pro tip. Every couple of hours during your hunt in a tree stand or in a ground blind, take October Cover Mist, mist it under your hat, around your head and your neck area, and that will effectively mask your human scent, because these are the areas that most of your odor is continually coming from.
This has made all the difference in the world. I got a little container that I put it on. Got a ski that I put it in. This is Paul Pollick's October Cover Mist. It's been the most important scent that I've used to eliminate my scent. Unreal.
Folks, you need to remember that once your odor is detected by a whitetail, it is too late to cover it up. And Paul Pollick's October Cover Mist is the perfect cover scent to make sure that those deer do not smell you. And folks, another Paul Pollick pro tip is that every time you leave your stand, give it a good application of October cover mist, especially if you're going to come back and hunt that stand the following day. Any lingering or residual human odor will be effectively covered by Paul Pollick's October cover mist. Folks, there's absolutely no doubt that Paul Pollick's October cover mist is the most important and the absolute best cover scent that you can use. And as a further testimonial, all 3 of my biggest whitetail bucks, including the 140 class Tennessee stud, have been harvested downwind. That's right, folks, downwind. And folks, I don't set up to hunt that way. It's just the nature of that swirling wind that I deal with in all those hills and hollers back home in Tennessee. And when that wind shifts, and it's gonna, these deer are not gonna smell me. They're gonna smell October cover mist. And if I had only one Paul Pollick scent to use, well, there's no doubt in my mind that it would be his incredible October cover mist. But folks, I'm glad I don't have to make that choice, because Paul Pollick makes the finest deer lures on today's market, and all of them work incredibly well for what they are designed to do, which is allow you to be just another deer in the woods. And from early season to late season, here are a few of my favorite Paul Pollick deer lure combinations that, without a doubt in my mind, are helping me to harvest some of the biggest mature whitetail bucks that I've ever had the opportunity to hunt. Now, in the early season, I used 3 to 4 deer lures as my combination. And last year, when Mr. Pollick came out with his doe preorbital, well, folks, that doe preorbital has become a staple lure for me, not just early season, but all throughout the deer hunting season. I have found by applying Paul Pollick's doe preorbital to areas on the ground and about knee to waist high, places like a travel route or a defined food source area like a stand of oak trees that's dropping acorns. These are places that does naturally sniff around and are curious. Well, folks, Paul Pollick's doe preorbital is the absolute perfect lure to apply in these areas that introduces that other deer. And the effects that I've experienced are very calming and non-alarming. I apply Paul Pollick's doe preorbital in a 360-degree circle around my stand, about 30 yards out from the base of the tree that I'm hunting, therefore imitating a doe that's walked on by and just kind of sniffed around, and all is good. And folks, keep in mind that when you apply a lure about waist high, you are allowing that lure to be much closer to the nostrils, just naturally the way that a deer is built. And folks, a deer's nose, well, it's on its face, it's not on its feet, along with the fact that all the preorbital glands are located on the deer's head. So it's natural for a deer to smell these smells face high, head high. And folks, this application works. Mr. Pollick offers his doe preorbital both in the liquid pump spray and the long-lasting oil-based gel. Now, once I establish my perimeter with doe preorbital, it's time to create a couple areas of exact interest. These are the places that I hope to execute the shot by keeping the deer locked in just a little bit longer with a different scent in its nose. And that lure that I use to do that early season is Paul Pollick's Mystic Intrigue. I apply this Curiosity blend to a dried stick or a piece of wood and placed on the ground, and always in the same general area that I expect to make the shot. And folks, this is an important point. You don't want these areas that you're hoping to execute a shot to keep drastically changing, because when I apply Mystic Intrigue, my game cameras show me that deer continually come to these areas 24/7. So folks, I don't want them to have to keep searching new areas out of curiosity. I want them to keep coming back to these exact spots. And Paul Pollick's Mystic Intrigue makes that continually happen for me, not only in the early season, but all throughout my entire hunting season. Now folks, here in the South, early season means the pre-rut, and it's never too early to start those mock scrapes and those ever important licking branches. Now, to get those mock scrapes going, there's nothing better than Paul Pollick's Complete Scrape, which is a blend of buck and rut urine, doe and heat urine, tarsal and interdigital glands, along with other things that accurately states the presence of a dominant buck and a breeding doe all in the same bottle. And it is the perfect combination to open up your mock scrapes with. And once I start using Paul Pollick's Complete Scrape, I use it from that point on through the rest of the hunting season, enhancing it with sex gland lures as the season progresses. Now, when I first open up one of these early season Complete Scrape setups, I reach for one of the most important lures that I can use, and that's Paul Pollick's Buck Preorbital, applied to a licking branch that is over the Complete Scrape setup. And folks, how important is Buck Preorbital? Well, without a licking branch in place, a mature buck will not frequent a scrape, as licking branches are a key to any type of scrape setup. And folks, Paul Pollick's Buck Preorbital allows you to keep reintroducing a mature buck to your Complete Scrape setup, to the most important element of your setup, the licking branch. And folks, Buck Preorbital is offered both in the liquid spray or the oil-based gel formula. Now, when the rut starts to heat up, there's not a deer hunter in the world that doesn't rely upon some type of doe in heat lure. And folks, Paul Pollick's Flamin' Seduction simply lights the woods on fire. This incredible doe and heat lure has a special place in my bag of tricks, as I use it as an independent drag rag setup, starting at point A, where I believe the buck will pick up the scent, and stopping at point B, where I want that buck to stop and present me a shot so I can harvest him. And folks, I've seen Paul Pollick's Flaming Seduction work on an independent drag rag setup that was over 75 yards long. And folks, that deer started hound dogging Flamin' Seduction where I started the drag and ended exactly where I stopped. And folks, that buck was the 240, a 5.5-year-old buck that weighed over 240 pounds on the hoof. Folks, Paul Pollick's deer lures provide you the absolute best opportunity for you to become another deer in the woods. And there's so many more that we didn't even cover, and the best thing for you to do is head on over to deerlures.com and check out the comprehensive list that he has, along with their intended purpose. Folks, when you combine these lures with the knowledge of how to use them, there is absolutely no doubt that you're going to become a much better deer hunter. Without a doubt in my mind, I know that's exactly what's happened for me, and I owe a major part of that to Mr. Paul Pollick and his incredible deer lures.
Paul Pollick Deer Lures, simply the best deer lures on today's market.
Be extra safe in the woods, and may God bless you, your family, your friends, and all of our military folks, the fighting men and women that protect the freedoms that we so enjoy each and every day and a lot of times take for granted. Looking forward to seeing you right here next time as we get to talk about those big bucks and those Paul Pollick deer lures.